come to your mat comfortably, either in a cross-legged position, one foot out in front of the other, or virasana, if that's okay for your knees. So virasana, you would start by standing on your shins and then sitting back onto your heels. It might feel nice to in either seated position to prop yourself up onto a blanket or a block if you have one, just to bring your hips higher than your knees. And then just begin to settle into your breath here. Let your eyes close softly. Bring your hands to your thighs. Consciously allowing the belly to expand on the inhale and to contract back towards your spine on the exhale. Grant yourself the permission to only focus on you and your practice on this mat for the next 75 minutes. You have nowhere else to be, nothing else to prove. It's you and your mat. Draw special attention to your breath, to your body. Find a newness in poses that might even be familiar, really familiar to you. Somehow it is seeming like it's winter again in May, a little bit chilly today, although the sun is shining out there. Definitely is a little colder than is typical for this season. So I thought we'd start today's practice with a breath that is meant to warm the body. So Kapalabhati breath. It's a breathing exercise that some of you may be familiar with, but I'll demonstrate first if that's not the case. So feel free to open your eyes briefly just to watch as I do this. You can bring your one hand to your lower belly. I will caveat and say if you have any uncontrolled high blood pressure, you're experiencing any discomfort in the stomach, if you're pregnant, this is not for you. So you can just simply maintain a normal pattern of breath and as we go through this exercise, and then we'll all come together again at the end. So if you're joining, go ahead and place your hand on your stomach and just begin to take normal patterns of breath, noticing the length of the inhale and the exhale, starting to match the durations. So this breath, again, as I said, warms the body. I think we need that today on this chilly morning, especially if you're like us in our house. We don't want to put the heat back on. It seems a little silly for May. So it might be chilly. But this breath also brings a balance to the inhale and the exhale. So a lot of times we inhale deeply, especially when we're stressed. But the exhale, sometimes we forget to draw attention to, and we end up kind of having this like pent up exhalation in our bodies, which can allow us to hold on to a lot of unexpressed emotions and feelings. So this breath really focuses on getting rid of that exhalation. So just begin, or just sit here with your normal pattern of breath. I'm going to demonstrate and talk it out. So this is going to be a passive inhale and an exaggerated exhale. So I'm going to inhale just about halfway and then begin pumping my exhales. So I'm going to come a little bit closer just so maybe you can kind of hear and see. Okay, so we'll try that together. If you were looking at the camera, you could probably see my stomach is really kind of snapping back towards my spine on the exhale. And that's what we're gonna aim for during this practice. So go ahead and again, just take a normal inhale and exhale, sigh it out. Inhale about halfway and then pump through your nose. So we'll go through about 30 pumpings. It might feel a little awkward at first, but just be patient with yourself. Again, it's kind of like you're blowing out a candle with your nose, if that's a good analogy. Maybe you imagine a birthday cake and you're really trying to get those candles to blow out just with your nose. So you're forcefully exhaling. Begin to slow the breath, come back to your normal pattern of breath. We'll try that one more time for about 30 pumpings, and then we will retreat back to the normal breath. So inhale about halfway here. Exhale, pump. Inhale, slow the breath, and then exhale to connect back to your normal pattern. Hi, Sharon.
Hi,
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Just connect back with the normal pattern here. You can bring both hands back to your thighs. So you might feel a little bit of an invigoration, that warming of the body. And again, that's the intention of this breath, especially on this chilly morning. It prepares us for our practice in front of us. So just now, closing your eyes again, connect back to your Ujjayi breathing. So Ujjayi means victorious breath. This breath is cultivated in the back of your throat, keeping your mouth closed and inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. The sound ends up becoming kind of like the sound of a seashell if you were to hold it up to your ear. It's kind of the sound of the ocean, a subtle sound. Good. Flutter your eyes open here. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart, and we'll start our practice by chanting one single sound of Om. You're always welcome to listen along. Om is a beautiful sound that unites us at the center of the universe, at the center of our yoga practice. And in today's world, it's even more important to unite our voices, to unite ourselves in ways like this. So inhale here for Om. Release your hands down, then open your eyes here. Inhale your arms overhead, clasp your hands together. Here or face your palms towards the sky. Just get that deep awakening stretch, moving your spine in whichever way feels good here. Nice. And then exhale your left hand down by your side, but keep your right hand risen, and then bring your right hand to your head. So we're going to stretch the neck here. So just gently pull your head over towards the right side, elongating the left side of the neck here and breathing into the left neck. So we're going to focus a lot on the neck, the shoulders, the upper arm area today. For Shafali, who practiced with me yesterday in Karina's class, it might feel a little familiar. I had been planning on this type of class before that, and then she further inspired this class. So we'll work with it. And then inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale your right hand to the mat beside you, and then bring your left palm to your head. Gently guide your head down towards your left shoulder, open in the right neck. Send breath into your neck to the right side. Inhale, arms overhead together through center, and then exhale into goalpost arms. So bring your elbows in line with your shoulders and gently kind of reach your elbows back towards the wall behind you, towards your back, the back of your mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together here, puff up your chest, but don't allow your ribs to gape here. So a natural counter position to puffing up your chest would probably be to allow the ribs to gape forward, but really tuck your ribs under while still bringing your chest forward. Good. Inhale your arms overhead together, and then exhale into goalpost. So we'll just flow through this a few times, connecting movement with breath. Inhale overhead, exhaling into goalpost. Inhale overhead, and then exhale into goalpost position. From here, pause and begin to twist your torso at the rib cage area towards the right. So with goalpost arms, we're twisting towards the right. And just pause here for one round of breath. Exhale to bring your right hand behind you or to your lower back, and your left palm comes to your right thigh, guiding yourself into a deeper twist towards the right. Turn your gaze over towards your right shoulder, but don't strain the neck too much. The intention of this twist is to really initiate it in the thoracic spine around your rib cage area. Good, and from here, ground your right palm into the mat behind you, and then inhale to lift your hips up towards the sky. So from whatever seated position you're in, you can lift your hips towards the sky. Bring your left arm overhead and back towards the back of your mat, guiding your hips towards the front of the mat, and then exhale to release down. If you have been sitting with your legs crossed, go ahead and switch the position of the legs. And then inhale your arms up overhead through center together. Exhale into goalpost arms. And then go ahead and begin to twist towards the left this time. So with your goalpost arms, bring your torso towards the left side. Breathe here, inhale and exhale. Release the left palm to the mat behind you or to your lower back. Your right palm comes to your left thigh. And then guide yourself into a deeper twist here. Gaze over your left shoulder, inhaling to lengthen your torso towards the ceiling. Exhaling to deeply twist. From here, ground your left palm into the mat behind you, and then inhale, lift your hips towards the sky, using your shins to propel you upwards, and then bring your right arm behind you, right fingertips back towards the back of the mat, and then exhale to release down. Coming back through center, good. Inhale your arms up overhead through center one more time. And then exhale, bend your right arm. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back with your right palm. So your right arm is bent here. And then take your left palm and bring it to your right elbow and just guide that right hand a little bit further down the back of your shoulders. So you can stay here or go ahead and bring your left hand out and around behind you to go in search of the right fingertips. Again, this is another pose where you might have a tendency to gape the ribs forward. I'm actually doing it right now. So just remind yourself to kind of tuck the rib cage under, but sit up tall. Guide your head back into your right forearm. Good. And then exhale, release. If you're holding on to the fingertips, bring your arms back up through center, overhead, and then bend your left arm this time, patting yourself on the back with your left palm, and then bringing your right palm to your left elbow and guiding that left hand a little bit further down your back. Feeling the stretch in your left tricep. And then you can stay here, or if it's accessible, go in search of your left fingertips with your right fingertips by bringing your right arm around back. Good. Exhale to release what you're holding on to. Arms come back through center overhead. And then exhale, release your hands down to your thighs. Go ahead and remove the prop out from underneath of you if you had one and come to a hands and knees position. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to face this way so you can see me in the pose. I do have my in-house student, my mom, facing the other way, so that might be helpful. But I will kind of shift around towards the front if I need to at any point to demonstrate the pose. So come to your hands and knees position with your wrists just directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. Good. Inhale to tilt your tailbone up towards the sky. Drop your belly down towards the ground. Lift your gaze up for cow pose. Exhale, tilt the tailbone down. Hollow your belly up towards the sky. Drop your head down towards the mat for cat pose. Really round the shoulders here. Inhale to lift the tailbone, drop your belly down, gaze lifts up for cow, and exhale, tilt the tailbone down, hollow the belly up towards the ceiling, drop your head last for cat pose. So guide yourself through a few more rounds of cat and cow, your own pace. Moving the torso and the spine in any way that feels good for you. It doesn't have to be a structured cat-cow. Good. After your next cat pose, come back to a neutral spine, just allowing your spine to take the natural curvatures that it has. Good. Keep your left palm grounded into the mat here. Inhale to twist towards the right and bring your right arm up towards the sky, right fingertips towards the sky. Exhale to bring your right hand underneath your left armpit, threading your right arm underneath the left arm, bringing your right shoulder to the mat completely and your right cheek to the mat. So you can stay propped up onto your left hand, or it might feel more supportive to come to the left forearm to support you when you're in this position. Again, your hips are staying elevated here. Feel this stretch and expansion in the right shoulder. And then exhale to unthread, bring the left arm or the right arm back through up towards the sky. Adjust your left hand to be underneath your shoulder to support you. And then exhale, bring your right hand back down to meet the left. So we're back down in our hands and knees position with a neutral spine here. Ground the right hand firmly into the mat and inhale, begin to twist the right rib cage towards the left side. At the same time, lift your left hand and arm towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale to thread your left arm underneath your right armpit, bringing your left arm and your left shoulder, your left cheek to the mat. On an exhale, go ahead and unthread the left arm, bringing it all the way up towards the sky one last time, and then exhale to release back down to hands and knees. Good. From here, bring your knees out towards the sides of the mat, a little bit wider. Bring your heels together, and then reach your sit bones back to meet your heels, coming into a child's pose. So your forehead comes to meet the mat, arms out in front of you. So really ground your palms into the mat and imagine as if you're pulling your mat back towards your shoulders without actually moving, but create that kind of tension. That'll bring a deeper stretch into the armpits, the shoulder area. Good. And then really connect your forearms and your elbows to the mat here in child's pose. And then bring your hands into prayer together. Keeping your head down towards the mat, your forehead grounded into the mat. Lift your hands overhead. So now your elbows are supporting you and your hands are overhead. This will create a little bit more of a stretch in the triceps. So really ground those elbows into the mat and kind of, again, guide them back towards your body without actually moving them. And you'll feel that kind of tension that is created in the armpit area a little bit more deeply. Good. Exhale to bring your arms and hands back out in front. And then ground your palms into the mat. Inhale to lift your torso back up through hands and knees. Good. Bring your feet back to hip width distance behind you. And then go ahead and walk your hands one handprint further out in front of you. Inhale your torso forward, peek over your fingertips, and then exhale your chest and chin between your hands. Keep your hips elevated, so you're in a caterpillar-like shape for Ashtra Pranam. Good. Inhale to scoop your torso forward for small cobra. So your toes are untucked, your arms are bent just halfway. So stay here for just a moment and really appreciate this small cobra pose that sometimes we rush through in our practice. Our hands are just below our chest bones, below our shoulders really, and then the tops of our arms are parallel with the ground, while the forearms are perpendicular to the ground. Good. And then exhale just to let your chest and chin come forward onto the mat. Pause here. And then inhale to push yourself back up into a small cobra. Good. Recognizing this is a small back bend, we'll do a few more small cobras here. So exhale, allow your head and chest to come forward onto the mat. And then inhale, lift your chest and chin off of the mat. Keep your neck long. So it's less about lifting from the chin, but more from the chest. Good. And then exhale to come forward. We'll do one more. Inhale, lift your chest off of the mat for small cobra. And then exhale, bring your head towards the mat. Shift back through hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. And then lift up into downward facing dog. So your hips come up towards the sky. It's your first downward facing dog of the day, potentially. So just really settle in, maybe wag your hips back and forth, pedal out one foot and then the other. Connecting your full palm and all fingertips into the mat, especially that pointer finger. Sometimes we kind of lift and create space underneath our pointer finger in down dog. So really ground that area into the mat. This is the part of the practice where I get a little out of breath because I'm speaking and doing it. So bear with me. But just feel that invigoration of the blood rushing to your head. Really wakes you up, this down dog. It's really an inversion too. We sometimes don't think of it as one, but your head is lower than your heart, so it's truly an inversion. Inhale to lift your right leg long behind you. Exhale, step the right foot by the right thumb, and then release your left knee to the mat, untuck the left toes. Inhale to bring your arms overhead for a low lunge. Good. From here, go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back. Puff up your chest towards the sky. Lift that back thigh towards the sky as well while you're still bending into the right knee tracking over the right ankle. Good. I'm just going to take a moment just to mute everyone because I think some sounds are letting others become the main screen. So in case you want to see me, how do I do this? Let's see. Manage participants. All right, should be good to go. From here, unclasp your hands behind your back, but leave your hands behind your back and your chest puffed up. So instead of just coming forward naturally, go ahead and really windmill your hands overhead behind you. So you're really feeling that expansion in your chest and your shoulders, and then finally come forward to frame the front foot. Good. Tuck the left foot under, and then step the right foot back to meet the left. Pause here in your high plank. From here, we'll flow through a vinyasa. So option to continue to come through hands and knees for Ashtapranam, and then scoop forward through small cobra. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. You can always use any version of the vinyasa. If chaturanga is in your practice, feel free to use that. And upward facing dog. You can always skip vinyasas and come right to downward facing dog as well. We'll have quite a few vinyasas today. So just listen to your body and do what's best for you. So inhale your left leg long behind you here. Exhale, step the left foot by the left thumb. Release your right knee to the mat. Untuck the right toes. Inhale your arms overhead. Good. Exhale, bring your hands behind you to clasp towards your lower back. And then puff up your chest once again towards the sky. Gaze lifts softly up. Lifting that back right thigh towards the sky. Both hip points facing towards the top of the mat. And then exhale to unclasp your hands. Keep your hands behind your back. Lift your hands overhead from behind all the way, windmilling them front to frame the front foot. Good. Tuck the right foot under and then step the left foot back to meet the right. Pause here in your high plank and then exhale, flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From here, very slowly begin to walk your feet up to meet your hands, shifting the weight in your body fully into your feet at the top of your mat. Hang heavy here in a ragdoll position, so let your torso and your head surrender forward. Maybe you grab opposite elbows, shift the hips back and forth. Just really let yourself go here. And then release what you're holding on to and very slowly begin to stack one vertebra on top of the other to bring yourself up to stand. Good. All right, so from here, setting up in Tadasana. You good, Sharon? Give me a thumbs up. You can hear? Okay, great. All right, so in Tadasana here, stacking your hips over top of your knees, over top of your feet, broadening your collarbone wide. Before we get too comfortable here in Tadasana, go ahead and cross your right foot over top of your left foot. I'm sorry, your left foot crosses over top of your right foot. So your right leg is in front of your left. And then inhale your arms overhead. Take hold of the left wrist with your right hand and guide yourself over towards the right side of the mat. So you're lengthening in the left side body here and kind of crunching into a banana shape on the right side. But also feel that feel the activation of the obliques, or like the right side abdomen on the right side. So don't allow yourself just to kind of droop over. Still keep activation in that side, but really send your breath into the left side. That's the opening of the left side body there. Good. Inhale, come back through center, and then go ahead and cross your left leg, your right leg this time, over top of your left leg, and take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, guiding yourself over towards the left side of the mat now, sending breath into the opening of the right side body, maybe places in the body that oxygen doesn't usually reach. Send your breath there. Inhale to come back through center, and then exhale your hands by your sides. Good. Inhale your arms overhead once again, palms touch, gaze lifts. Exhale your hands through the midline of your body. Fingertips come to line all the way with toe tips on the mat. Inhale about halfway up, the long neck and spine out towards the top of the mat. Hands in line with shin, hands in line with shins. And then exhale, frame the feet, step or hop back. Flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. All right. From here, allow your knees to come to the mat. So we're coming back into a tabletop position, hands and knees position. You can untuck your toes here, and then come to your forearms. From here, clasp your hands together. Your elbows about shoulder width distance. And then just inhale to bring your torso, your sit bones back towards your heels, not all the way, just as far as you can go. And then exhale to come forward, shift your torso and your weight into your forearms, maybe even peek over your clasped hands. And then exhale, come back. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, sink back. Inhale to come forward. And then exhale, just come back to kind of a neutral position, your body weight evenly distributed here. And then go ahead and reach your right leg back. Tuck the toes under. And then go ahead and lift your left leg, tuck the toes under, coming into a forearm plank. So you're always welcome to keep your knees on the mat if this is not accessible for you. We'll just stay here for 3 rounds of breath, challenging ourselves to fire up our core. Inhale here. And exhale, inhale, and exhale. One more here, inhale, and exhale, and then release yourself all the way to the mat. Good. So you're propped up here, kind of in a sphinx position, so you're on your forearms, ground, your elbows grounded into the mat. Feel that back bend here, the opening of the chest through the shoulders, gaze out in front. Good. And then go ahead and come all the way to the mat. Even your chest comes to the mat. Bring your hands by your sides, your forehead to the mat. So your right arm comes out in front of you. Your fingertips facing towards the top of the mat. Good. Bend your right leg here. Lift your foot up towards your head as much as it can go. And then reach back with your left hand and take hold of your right ankle. Inhale to lift your right arm off of the mat. Use that right leg and lift that to kind of bring your chest and chin off of the mat for a laying down dancer pose variation. And then exhale to release. Make a pillow with your hands and just briefly rest here. From here, bring your left arm out towards the top of the mat and bend your left knee. So your left foot comes up towards the ceiling. And then reach back with your right hand, take hold of your left ankle, and kick your left foot up towards the sky and back towards the back of your mat while your right or your left arm lifts. So your chest and chin are coming off of the mat, your thigh and your knee are off of the mat on the left leg. Good. And then exhale to release. Nice. You can bend the legs here and then just windshield wiper your shins back and forth. Allow the legs to come long behind you and bring your palms to ground on the mat underneath your chest. On an inhale, push yourself back through hands and knees, tuck the toes under, and lift your hips up towards the sky back into your downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Land with a long spine here. Exhale, fold forward deeply, Uttanasana. Inhale, scoop your arms up and out alongside your ears. Palms touch, gaze lifts. Exhale your hands by your sides for Tadasana. Good. Inhale, arms overhead once again. Palms touch. Lift your gaze towards your thumbs. Exhale, your hands through the midline of the body, bringing your fingertips all the way to line with toe tips on the mat. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale to frame the feet, step or hop back. Flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Good. From here, lift the right leg up long behind you. Exhale to step the right foot between the hands. And then keep your left knee elevated here. You're on the ball of your left foot. Inhale your arms overhead for a high lunge. Good. From here, exhale your arms out to a T. So your right leg is bent out in front of you. Your right knee tracking over top of your right ankle. And then begin to wrap your right arm underneath your left arm out in front of you. So maybe your forearms can wrap around each other. Maybe if they wrap twice, then your palms come to touch in your eagle arms. Good. So lift your elbows up towards your nose and out towards the top of your mat to really feel that extension in your shoulders. Slowly begin to just gently twist your torso towards the right side. So with your eagle arms, slightly twist towards the right. So you'll feel this through the right side body all the way down into the right hip. And then come back through center. Exhale, release your arms by your sides. And then straighten the front foot. We're going to come to set up in a wide-legged position out towards the left side of the mat. So that would mean I'm facing, not my back is facing you, so I'm just going to turn towards the front just so I can demonstrate, but you are opened towards the long left side of your mat at this point. Good. So your toe tips are both facing the left side of the mat. Feet are parallel to each other. Inhale, bring your hands to your hips. And then exhale, begin to fold forward and down towards your mat, your torso parallel with the mat. And eventually dropping your head down towards the mat. Bringing your hands to line with your toe tips on the mat. Breathing here, allowing your head to droop down towards the mat. Good. From here, option to bring your fingers to lock into a yogi toe lock. So basically bring your fingers to wrap around your big toes. Just bring your arms out to each foot, wrapping your fingertips, your index and your middle finger and your thumb around your big toes. Keep breathing here. Good. And then from here, inhale just about halfway up. Exhale fully, and then inhale the rest of the way up to stand. Cartwheel your hands forward to frame the front foot, the right foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left, and then exhale to flow through a vinyasa and meeting in downward facing dog. Good. From here, inhale the left leg long behind you. Step the left foot between the hands. Bend into the left knee. Keep your right knee elevated off of the mat onto the ball of your right foot. And inhale your arms overhead for a high lunge on the left side. Good. So thinking about raising that right hip and thigh up towards the sky, facing both hip points level towards the top of the mat. Exhale your arms out to a T here. Begin to wrap your left arm underneath your right arm this time. Maybe your forearms come to wrap around each other and your palms touch. Lift your elbows towards your nose and out towards the top of the mat for your eagle arms. And then slowly begin to twist just gently and slightly towards the left side of the mat. So again, this will be felt kind of in the long right side of the body this time. Probably all the way from the rib cage, or maybe even the shoulder, down to the right hip, into the right thigh. Then exhale, come back through center. Release your arms from each other. And then we're going to set up for a wide-legged position towards the right side of the mat. Feet parallel to one another. Toe tips all facing towards the long right side of the mat. Inhale deeply, and then exhale. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's stand up again. Clasp your hands behind your back and puff up your chest towards the sky. And then now we'll begin to exhale and bring our torso forward and down towards the mat. Head releases down towards the mat. Arms and hands can come overhead and down towards the mat. So this will create space in the shoulder area. The further your hands can come overhead. Good. So breathing here, it's one of those poses where sometimes we can forget to breathe. So just keep your breath flowing. Your Ujjayi breath is a great way to guide throughout the practice. On an inhale, begin to lift just about halfway. Exhale fully at halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale to lift your torso back up towards the sky. Good. Turn your toe points, your toe tips to face the top of the mat. And then cartwheel your hands to frame the left foot. Step your left foot back to meet the right. Exhale to lower it down. Flow through a vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take a moment here if you need a drink of water or to come to child's pose, just take a breather. This next sequence is going to be fun yet challenging. Oh, hey, Ryan. Siobhan, do you mind unmuting yourself for a second and just letting me know if you can see me on the main screen or not?
Yeah.
You can see me? Okay, great, thank you. All right, so from here, when you're ready, let's come back into downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat, landing with your long spine. Exhale, fold deeply in half, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your arms up and out alongside your ears. Palms touch, gaze lift. Exhale, your hands by your sides. All right. Inhale to bend the knees, sink the hips, arms overhead. So we're in our chair pose. Bring the weight of your body into your heels here. Lift your toe tips. And listen closely. This is a little bit different than we're used to. And before we go through the rest of our vinyasa, we're going to sink the hips deeply until we kind of come into a full squat. Lift the heels off of the mat and allow the knees to come to the mat. Good, so you're here. And then bring your hands behind you. Allow your hands to come on the mat. So you're kind of in a variation of camel pose. And then slowly keep walking your hands behind you, lifting your hips up towards the sky, grounding all corners of your feet into the mat. So you're in a reverse tabletop position. Allow your head to gape backwards if that's okay for your neck. Don't force it. And then lift your hips up towards the sky. Bring your hips in line or further up towards the ceiling with your knees. Good. And then exhale, begin to walk your hands back in close to your body. And then coming back onto your knees here. Yeah, that was a little different, a little challenging, but you all did great. All right, so from here, inhale to raise your arms overhead. If anyone wants an extra challenge here, see if you can lift yourself back up into chair pose without the assist of your hands, but it's definitely not necessary. So an option would be to bring your hands back down and kind of prop yourself back up, and then we'll all meet in chair pose. Good. Thank you for indulging that challenge. All right, so then fold forward deeply. Uttanasana, inhale about halfway up. Exhale, fold again, Uttanasana. Good. Frame your feet. Step or hop back into a high plank. Flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From here, lift your right leg long behind you. Step the right foot by the right thumb. Go ahead and swivel your left heel down to the mat on a 45-degree angle out towards the left side. Bend into your right knee and then inhale your arms overhead for warrior one. Go ahead and drop your shoulders away from your ears, framing your hip points evenly towards the front of the mat. And then exhale your hands behind you. Go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back. I guess you're noticing a theme here. We're really emphasizing the puffing up of the chest, opening and expanding the collarbone here. Inhale to come forward, coming into a humble warrior. Your torso comes forward and down towards the mat, hooking your right shoulder on close to your right knee. And then see if you can guide your hands and your arms over top of your head towards the top of the mat. For a humble warrior. Good. Inhale to lift your torso up towards the sky, unclasp your hands, and then set up for a warrior two. So bringing your back foot, your left foot to be parallel with the back of the mat, arms out to a T, gaze over your right fingertips. Good. From here, inhale your torso forward slightly. Exhale your right elbow to your right knee. Your left arm comes overhead across your face and out towards the top of the mat for extended side angle. Send a deep breath into your left side body. Inhale to come back up through warrior two, and then gradually allow your left palm to drift down your left leg. Bring your right arm across your face towards the back of the mat, still bending into that knee for a radiant warrior. Good. Inhale to come forward into extended side angle, and we'll flow through a few of these from extended side angle, exhaling back into a radiant warrior. Use your own pace and your breath to guide you, so you can make it kind of like a dance. Those of you who have been practicing with me for the last couple of weeks know that last week I was really into kind of incorporating some fluid dance-like movements into the practice, so make this your own. And then go ahead and pause on your next radiant warrior here. From here, straighten your right leg, so lifting your hip points a little bit taller towards the ceiling. Good, and then exhale your hands to a T. Your torso comes slightly forward towards the top of the mat, and then coming into triangle pose, allow your right hand to come down towards the right foot, your left arm to come up towards the sky. So if your right hand meets the mat, that's great, bring it on the outside. If not, just allow it to gently rest on your shin, on your ankle. If you have a block, you can prop it on the block. Expand your collarbones wide here, turn your gaze towards your left thumb. Good. From here, we'll begin to, we're gonna stay just like this. So begin to skip your left foot a little bit closer towards your right foot. So you can release your left hand to your hip, your left hip. Just skip your left foot a little bit closer to your right foot. Gradually begin to bring the weight of your body into your right foot and leg. If you have a block, it might be helpful. You don't need it, but it might be helpful to bring it towards a little bit in front of the right foot, in front of the right pinky toe. Ground your right hand into the mat, or if it doesn't meet the mat, that's totally fine. As you bring the weight of your body into the right leg, lift your left leg off of the mat for a half moon. So you're gonna open the weight of open the body, the torso, towards the long left side of the mat. Lifting the left leg, flexing the left foot, and lifting the left leg so it's in line with the hip. Turning your gaze out towards the left side of the mat. Or if you feel like you have the balance here, go ahead and shift your gaze up towards the left thumb. So it's definitely a balance challenge. So stay here for a few breaths, and then when you are ready to come out of it, step your left leg long behind you. We'll come back and meet in warrior two. So take your time. Whew, breathe, reconnect with the breath here. Good. Exhale your hands by your sides. And then we're going to turn the feet towards the long left side of the mat. Coming into a goddess pose position. So not just yet, but just set your feet up towards the left side of the mat, but have them slightly angled out towards the top and the back of the mat. So instead of having them parallel, like in wide-legged forward fold, have them slightly angled towards the top and the back of the mat. Okay. So then inhale to sink your hips, bend your knees. Coming into this goddess pose position, inhale your arms overhead, and then exhale your arms into goalpost position, right? So your elbows are in line with your shoulders here. And then option to stay here or to skip it all together. But I thought we'd do one more kind of little dancing variation. So inhale to come to bring your right elbow towards your right knee, your left arm overhead, and then come back through center, your left elbow to your left knee, your right arm overhead and out towards the left side. Kind of just doing this dancing-like motion in goddess pose. I couldn't skip it this week, being at Mother's Day weekend. I think we can all agree that all mothers, all motherly figures in our lives are goddess-like. So let's do this for them. And then just take maybe one more on each side and then come to a stillness at center. I know it's challenging. I'm shaking a little bit. So let's exhale to bring our legs to straight. Good. Awesome. Whew. Deep breath in and out. And then go ahead and turn your toe tips towards the top of the mat. Cartwheel your hands forward to frame the right foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left. And then go ahead and lower down, flowing through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Good. Inhale to lift the left leg long behind you. Exhale, step the left foot by the left thumb. And then swivel the right heel down to the mat. Bend into the left knee and raise up for warrior one. Guide your hip points towards the top of the mat. And then exhale to release your hands behind your back. Clasp your fingers together. Maybe clasp your fingers together with the opposite thumb on top. So it might feel a little different and awkward to have the opposite pinky and thumb on the top and bottom, but just give it a try. Inhale to come forward and down with your torso. Hooking your left shoulder on to your left knee, and then bring your hands overhead towards the top of the mat as much as is accessible for you. Okay. Inhale to lift your torso up. Unclasp your hands. And then go ahead and set up for warrior two. So your back foot becomes parallel with the back of the mat. Bending into the front left knee. Look down and see if you can see your left big toe. If not, guide your left knee out towards the left side of the mat a bit more. Good. From here, inhale your torso forward. Exhale, release the left elbow to the left knee. Inhale your right arm, cross your face and towards the top of the mat. Send your breath into the opening in your right side body. And then inhale to come up through warrior two. Allow your right hand to drift down your right leg, and your left arm comes across your face and towards the back of the mat for a peaceful, radiant warrior. Inhale to come forward into extended side angle, and then you know the drill here. Just fluidly use your breath to move you from peaceful warrior into extended side angle. Slowly using the breath to guide you. And then we'll meet here in our Radiant Warrior. So pause the next time you come into Radiant Warrior. From here, lengthen and straighten the left leg, lifting your hips a little bit taller towards the sky. And then exhale your arms out to a T. From here, inhale your torso towards the top of the mat. Your left hand comes down towards the mat. Your right arm and hand comes up towards the ceiling for triangle pose. So if your left hand meets the mat, bring it to the outside of your left foot. If not, just let it gently rest on your shin, somewhere on your left leg. Maybe invite a kind of a slight back bend, daring your weight towards the left side of the mat here. Good. And then from here, release your right hand down to your right hip. We're going to set up for a half moon pose on this side. So begin to skip your right foot a little closer to your left leg. And then gradually begin to bring the weight of your body into your left foot and into your left leg. Bring your left hand down towards the mat. Begin to lift the right leg off of the mat, flexing the right foot, pointing the right toes out towards the right side of the mat. Balancing on your left leg. Inhale to raise your right hand up towards the sky, opening your torso and your body out towards the right side of the mat. Take a couple breaths here, and then when you're ready, go ahead and step. No rush, but when you're ready, step your right leg back long into a warrior two. From here, exhale your hands by your side, and we'll set up for our goddess pose facing the long right side of the mat. So go ahead and bring your feet out wide, your toes slightly angled towards the top and the back of the mat. Inhale to bend the knees, sink the hips. Bring your arms above your head into a gold pose position. Elbows in line with your shoulders, and then inhale, begin to flow to the one side, Bring your right elbow to your right knee, your left arm across your face, and then to the other side for a little bit of a dancing goddess. Good. And pause back in center. And exhale to release your legs long. Take a deep breath here. Whew. And then turn your toe tips to face the top of the mat. Cartwheel your hands to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Pause here in your high plank. And then exhale to lower down, flow through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. From here, inhale, rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat, landing with a long spine. And then inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, arms come up alongside your ears for your chair pose. Time won't allow for us to do that reverse tabletop right now. So I'm sad for all of you. Sounds like my in-house student is too. And then exhale to fold forward, deeply in half. Inhale your arms up and around, overhead, palms touch, gaze lifts, and then exhale your arms by your side for Tadasana. All right, so we're going to officially transform into our more grounding and restful part of the practice. So just reconnect with your breath for one inhale here, and an exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, arms overhead, palms touch, gaze lifts. Exhale through the midline of the body. Fingertips come to line with toe tips on the mat. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale to frame the feet. You have an option for one more vinyasa here if you would like it. If not, let's come right into our downward facing dog. Good, very nice. And from here, inhale to roll your body forward into a high plank. Exhale to release your body fully to the mat. Good, just make a pillow with your hands. Allow one cheek to rest on your hands. Maybe wiggle your hips back and forth a bit. And then bring your arms long by your sides, palms facing down, ground your forehead into the mat. Inhale to lift your chest and chin, your palms, your knees and your feet off of the mat for Shavasana, locust pose. Maybe you clasp your hands behind your back and puff up your chest even more, lifting from the chest and the heart, not so much from the chin. Good, gaze gently out front. For an extra challenge here, you can bring your arms out to a T, kind of like a flying locust pose, and then exhale to release. So we'll take one more variation of locust. We'll actually go into bow pose, and I'll cue that, but if you'd like to just go into the same expression of locust pose like we just did, that's totally acceptable as well. So for bow pose, if you'd like to join me in that, go ahead and bend your knees and reach back to take hold of the ankles, the outer ankles, with both hands. Inhale to kick your feet up towards the sky and back towards the wall to lift your chest higher. So maybe you find a little bit of a rock in the pelvic area. Good. Inhale deeply here. And then exhale, release down to the mat. Make another pillow with your hands and bring one cheek to your hands. Bend your legs here and then kind of windshield wiper your shins back and forth together. Let your legs hang long behind you. And then very slowly begin to transition onto your back. Bending your knees, bringing your feet close in towards your sit bones, grounding evenly into all four corners of your feet. Hands and arms by your sides, palms grounded into the mat. Inhale to connect your lower back to the mat, and then exhale to lift your hips towards the sky for a bridge pose. So I have a tendency to come onto the outer edges of my feet in bridge. If that's the case for you, just really consciously think about bringing the weight evenly into all four corners to lift your hips higher towards the sky. Relax the glute muscles. On an exhale, release down towards the mat. Good. We'll do that same variation here. So inhale, ground your lower back into the mat, and then exhale to lift your hips towards the sky for a bridge. So maybe you clasp your hands underneath your back, puff up onto kind of pillows with your triceps to lift your chest and your hips closer and higher towards the sky. Another option would be to kind of reach down for your heels with your hands. Take hold of your heels or your ankles. On an exhale, release your hips to the mat. So we'll take one more variation of a back bend here. So you're welcome to come into bridge pose. If you have a block, you're always welcome to slip that block underneath your lower back and come into a passive expression. But I'd like to offer upward facing bow here, otherwise known as wheel. So if that is something you'd like to join me in this morning, go ahead and ground your palms into the mat with your fingertips facing towards your elbow, or towards your shoulders. So your wrists are open towards the top of the mat, and your fingertips are facing down towards your shoulders. Firmly plant your feet evenly into the mat. Inhale to connect your lower back to the mat first, and then exhale, lift your arms and legs to come to straight and lifting your hips all the way up towards the sky for an upward bow. So nice, just breathing through this, allowing your head to kind of be heavy, grounding your palms and your feet fully into the mat. When you're ready to come out of this, you can stay for as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out of it, gently come onto your shoulders first, and then release the rest of your spine down towards the mat. Good. Once you've gotten to the mat, hug your knees into your chest and begin to rock gently back and forth, massaging the lower back for a release after those back bends. Side to side. Eventually allowing your knees to fall to the right side. So using your right hand to hug your left knee that's on top into your right armpit. Bring your left arm out towards the side. Bring your left arm out to a T and turn your gaze towards your left fingertips. So you're in a supine twist. Again, twisting from the thoracic spine area, initiating that twist near the rib cage. Breathing deeply, sometimes we tend to suppress our breath with twists, so just consciously bringing awareness to the breath here. On your next inhale, hug your knees back through center. Rock just a few times side to side, really connecting that lower back sacrum area with the mat, feeling the massage. And then allow your knees to fall toward the left side, hugging your right knee this time in close towards your left armpit. Your right arm comes out to a T, turn your gaze over towards the right fingertips for a supine twist on this side. On your next inhale, bring your knees back through center. Hug your knees into your chest and begin to rock long ways the length of your mat, the length of your spine, eventually propelling yourself up to a seated position. Having your legs come out long in front of you. Flex your feet here, bring your ankles and your feet to touch. Bring your hands by your sides, sit up tall towards the sky. Good. And then inhale, bring your arms behind you, kind of like airplane arms. Reach them over top of your head and bring your arms forward to take hold of your legs, either on your shins, your ankles, your feet, coming forward, bringing your head and your lower back with you for this forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Allow your head to droop towards your knees. Feel this in the back of your legs, hamstrings, calves. And exhale to release what you're holding onto. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Bring the sole of your right foot on the outside of your left leg. Keep your left foot flexed, and then inhale your arms overhead. Exhale to twist towards the right side, hooking your left elbow onto your right knee. Bring your right arm behind you. Guide yourself into a twist. Your gaze over your right shoulder here. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to twist more deeply. Exhale to unfold. Inhale, arms come overhead. Bring your right leg back out in front. And then exhale your arms by your side. This time bend your left knee. Bring the sole of your left foot on the outside of your right leg, flexing the right foot all the while. Inhale your arms overhead once again and twist to the left, hooking your right elbow onto your left knee, bringing your left hand behind you. Twists, as I've said with many of you before, are so detoxifying. They literally wring out the organs, wring out the spine. They kind of like compress the organs. So then when you release, it allows the nutrient-rich blood to kind of rush and flood those organs and those parts of the body. So drinking a lot of water after twisting is really good to aid in that elimination. Inhale your arms overhead, and then exhale them by your sides. Bring your left leg long. We're going to set up for our final resting position of Shavasana. So layer up if you would like to, if your body temperature might drop a bit in the next 5 minutes. Bringing your arms out to the sides, palms facing up or down if that's more of a safe grounding sensation for you. Feet about hip width distance or slightly wider. Maybe bring a blanket, any props you'd like to cover yourself. And the challenge, as always in Shavasana, is just to let go without falling asleep. Allow yourself to seep in all the amazing benefits of your practice. Without Shavasana, this practice is very incomplete. So really allow yourself this time in silence to soak in all the amazing benefits of the last hour or so. Begin to welcome a deeper breath into your body. You are certainly welcome to stay here. That's one of the beauties of a home practice. You can stay comfy and cozy in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. But otherwise, begin to wiggle the toes and the fingertips, eventually hugging your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side, giving one more massage of the lower back. Eventually allowing your knees to fall to one side, curling up into the fetal position. Thanking yourself for spending this time on your mat this morning to kick off the weekend. We all know we have so many different things going on in our minds and our lives, so many abnormal things. So giving this time to yourself is just so essential. Use your top hand to prop yourself up into a seated position. And then if you used a prop in the beginning of practice, go ahead and revisit that blanket or block and raise your hips higher than your knees. We'll come into more of a cross-legged position to end our practice. Bring your hands to your thighs, either downward for a more grounding sensation to seal in the practice, or you might flip your palms up towards the sky to invite a more invigorating sensation, to invite that feeling into the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. Close your eyes softly. I found a short poem called The Laughing Heart, and it seemed appropriate for this time we're living in, when the darkness might be the only thing that we typically are recognizing. We might be so focused on what's to come and kind of rushing through this time, hoping to get out of this situation, right? So the Laughing Heart reads, your life is your life. Your life is your life. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you your chances. Know them, take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. The more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. So your life is your life, and your life is now. I think that's really powerful. Every part of your life is important in some way, even if it seems to be an obstacle in some way, or it seems to be dark. It's all a learning experience. So bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. We'll close our practice with one single sound of Om. Inhale here. Om. Lift your thumbs up to your third eye. And then bow forward, sealing in your practice. The light in me honors the light in each one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.